For USCFootball.com, I'm Jack Smith alongside Shotgun Spratling for instant analysis from USC's 27-20 win over 13th-ranked LSU here in Las Vegas. Shotgun, won a win for this USC team. Feels like the signature win so far for the Trojans under Lincoln Riley, and it comes in a big spot to start year 3.
Yeah, definitely. I think it is the signature win for them. It's the first time that they've really, played an opponent of this quality and been able to find a way to win. And it was the mental fortitude of the defense in particular, but then Miller Moss making plays at the end. Kyron Hudson, veteran guy, and people are asking in the offseason, why is Kyron Hudson on the depth chart first instead of Deuce Robinson, instead of these sophomores? That's why. He makes those spectacular catches, sure hands. He had a couple chances where he could have had a touchdown, had the ball knocked away, but he made up for it with 2 ridiculous catches. One that really kind of sealed the game because it came with a targeting call and put USC in position to have a field goal. Instead, Woody Marks runs it in, and Lincoln Riley actually said that he thought back before that play, and he said it felt kind of like an OU Texas game they'd had. They were a little bit further out, and the running back found a crease. He said, he said in the headset, he's like, I wouldn't be surprised if he creases it right here. And sure enough, Woody Marks takes it to the house with about 4 seconds left on the clock to give USC the touchdown. LSU had an amazing crowd here. They went silent. And then after the game, you had some players like Jacoby Lane sprinting over to rub it in their face a little bit because there was a lot of trash talk going on the field, whether it was Kyron Lacey pretending to shoot a gun at one of the USC players after his touchdown, a lot of chippiness in between the two teams. So it was a huge emotional roller coaster for USC, but through it all, the most impressive part was the way that they never folded on the defense. Even when USC fell behind, LSU took the lead, and USC cannot connect on a 4th down play. What happens? The defense steps up and gives the offense another chance, and then they were able to give Miller Moss an opportunity with a little bit less than 2 minutes, and it really kind of felt like kind of a Matt Barkley at Ohio State type of situation. Joe McKnight, Woody Marks playing that part, finishing off the touchdown run there. So terrific win for USC, huge for the momentum as they go forward in the season. But just huge for this program after everything they went through last year and all the things that they were trying to change. There's a lot of things they still got to clean up, but this shows all the work they put in the offseason. It gives them just that much more motivation to continue to work hard as the season goes along. So a huge win for USC against what I think will be a pretty good LSU team as the season continues to unfold.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing to talk about before the game was how similar these teams were, the storylines, how they were the same for both teams. And it felt like they went out there and they looked like the same football teams. Like those were 2 evenly matched teams playing on a neutral site and a game that could have gone either way for the most part. But the spot I feel like I want to start the most is over the last couple of years, USC's offense had to score every time because they knew when the defense went on the field, odds are there was not going to be a stop or it was going to take way too long. Today it felt like the defense was the one that bailed out the offense. When the offense was struggling, the defense kept getting them the ball back, gave Lincoln Riley and Miller Moss time. Then they figured it out for 2 late touchdown drives in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, definitely. They had 2 huge stops. The one right after the 4th down where USC doesn't connect, I think it was 3rd and 1, and just absolute stuff. And LSU thinks about, hey, do we try to go for it? But you can't risk it because of the way the defense has been playing. They get the 4th down stop early in the game. I thought LSU should have taken the points there, just get on the board. Instead, they basically used half the first quarter and got nothing out of it. And I think that was a little bit demoralizing to the LSU offense. I thought Garrett Nussmeier was great, but I thought the USC defensive game plan by Denton Lynn was to stop the run. And, I think they ran for 117 yards as a team, but I think that's something you would definitely take with the offensive line that they have on the other side. USC didn't really get any pressure on Nussmeier, and he was able to, connect with Kyron Lacey a lot and, connect and hit his receivers. But I thought the defensive game plan was to take away their strength. They did that. They forced Garrett Nussmeier to try to beat him, and he wasn't able to do it. They weren't able to get into the end zone enough times. USC was able to bend but don't break. Very Pete Carroll-esque of the way they would, they would give up some things, but very few explosive plays. There was one busted coverage late on a crossing route there, an over route that Nussmeier was able to connect with. But other than that, USC was in position and everything. Even the touchdown, N'Keely Arnold was right in position and probably should have made a better play on the ball. That's different than what we've seen in the past. Before it was there's no one around or, a guy's wide open in space. And the tackling, they did miss some tackles. When you go back, you're going to see that, rewatch the game, we'll see some missed tackles there. But the biggest difference was when they caught the ball in space, And if they did have a guy miss the tackle, there was 2 more guys there. They rallied to the ball so well tonight compared to what we've seen in the past. I think back to one play early in the game on the opening drive where they ran a little rub route or a screen to a wide receiver who comes in, and Jalen Smith gets clipped, but Braylon Shelby is downfield and makes the tackle. Now it's a big, pretty good game for LSU, but it kept them from getting in the end zone. Last year, that's a play that gets in the end zone. Instead, USC gets the 4th down stop. Those type of things are things that you saw tonight that you did not see in the past. So it gives you a lot of confidence in the direction of the defense. And I thought it was really cool, really interesting, actually, to hear Braylon Shelby talking. I think he was you asked him, where did you see the difference in the strength? Because he said he could see this difference in their strength against the rush attack of LSU. And he said, we go out there and we just you could feel that we were able to stand our ground and be able to go up against their offensive line, who is a massive offensive line with elite tackles. And they held their own. They didn't get a ton of pressure, affecting the quarterback, but they held their own in the trenches for sure. They weren't getting shoved back 5 yards before there was being contact made with the running back. So a lot of positives to come out of that defensive effort. They definitely gave the offense opportunities, and like I said, Miller Moss showed his perseverance, just stepping up and making throws, attacked the middle of the field, used the tight ends. Cade Eldridge gets his first career catch. I think Lake McCree had 5 catches. I don't know when last time at USC. Maybe Daniel Amado-Bebe had 5 at one point with Sam Darnold, but it's been forever. And used different receivers. No one had a huge game. Jacoby Lane had a touchdown, did an amazing job stemming the DB, keeping him kind of locked up, and then exploding to go get the ball for the touchdown. Great throw from Miller Moss on a free play. Got him to jump and took advantage of it. USC was disciplined tonight. That definitely stood out too. I think it was 6 penalties for like 50 yards compared to LSU having 10 for 99 and a multiple unsportsmanlike conduct penalties or personal fouls. The targeting at the end obviously was huge because that put USC right in field goal position when everything was kind of, worrisome and the time winding down. USC only having 1 timeout because they had wasted a couple. So all around, just a lot of positives to take away from this. And you start thinking about what can this team become if they continue to work the way they have this offseason. And, the sky's the limit right now, it seems like, for this team.
Yeah, it felt like defensively the biggest difference I noticed is you're forcing more 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9s because you're stuffing the first down run. And last year where they could have a good 1st and 2nd down, but they'd give up a 3rd down conversion. Or maybe they don't give up a 3rd down conversion, but they'll give it up on 4th down. Or when team gets into the red zone, they're going to score a touchdown. Felt like today, 3rd down, I think they were under 50%, held LSU under 50%, 4th down, 1 for 2, and they forced multiple field goals when LSU got into the red zone. Felt like that could be the key tonight, and both defenses, I thought, did a pretty good job of that. But when you're looking at the defensive side, those are the biggest differences I noticed. And a couple people that you brought up, Kyron Hudson, Lake McCree, Miller Moss, and Woody Marks, I think it's pretty interesting that the world of college football has started to stem around, and the conversation's always been around these young guys and who's the flashy new toy. These 4 sophomore receivers. USC's leading passer, rusher, and 2 leading receivers are redshirt juniors or older. Felt like the old guys today in a big moment, big stage, showed that, hey, we're here too. The old guys can still play. It's not just these young guys, the 5-star recruits that come in.
And on the defensive side, Kamari Ramsey led him. He's a redshirt sophomore, but 3rd-year guy. Led him in tackles 1-9. Mason Cobb, I believe, had 7. Eric Gentry had 7. Easton Mascarenas-Arnold was 6. I thought Gentry was all over the place. I loved the way they used him in different ways. We saw some true 4-3 where the 3 linebackers all standing, 5 yards off. We saw Gentry off the edge and kind of a faux 5-2. We saw different things with them. We saw Gentry as one of 2 linebackers at times. We saw it, with 3 linebackers on the field, a decent amount, using the nickelback sometimes, not using the nickelback. They rotated a ton of guys. The 2nd string defensive line, the 2nd string edges, 2nd string everything. They used a lot of guys on the defensive side. We did not see any rotation on the offensive line. Thought we might see a little bit there, especially the right guard spot. Did not see any there. But on the defensive side, a ton of guys got in there, and it was pretty consistent. It wasn't this giant drop-off that you imagine, and it maybe gives you a little bit more confidence in the defense because I didn't think Barry Alexander played great. Didn't make any impact plays, and yet they were able to hold the fort in the middle. They were able to get a couple plays. They didn't have many tackles for losses, but Eric Gentry had 2 of them. Braylon Shelby had a big one late to kind of stuff a LSU drive. So, there's positives all around. But like you said, there are those veteran players, guys that have waited their turn. Kyron Hudson for sure is a guy that's waited his opportunity. Now, he started some games last year, but he's been a rotation guy. out there and made some huge plays for him. Lake McCree, a guy, the tight ends have been dogged for years. They haven't been using the offense. He was really good today. Not only did he have the 5 catches, but he absolutely pancaked a defender on Woody Marks' first touchdown run. I got a good shot of that, and he was so excited after. He was just, he's celebrating more than Woody Marks, who for some reason the referee, every time Woody Marks scored, there was one referee in particular just rushed him off the field. I don't know what was going on, why it was him, but it was kind of a weird situation there. But yeah, the older guys had really good nights tonight, and I think that bodes well, because you don't have to rush those young guys in to force them to, hey, we need you to make plays immediately. You can give them more time if need be.
Last thing, USC offense wasn't perfect today. They struggled a good bit during that third quarter, but Miller Moss, in his second career start, got a chance to lead a game-winning drive, and he did so. What do you think tonight said about Miller?
I mean, the perseverance to stick around and wait. And you listen to Woody Marks, he said, I knew in the spring this is the guy. The way he leads everything, this is a guy I would follow. And to see Miller Moss, the emotion that he had after the game, the emotion of Jonah Monheim coming off the game. He's like, are you kidding me? Are you coming off? He's like, his hair is wild, flying everywhere. The emotion of the players as they're singing with the band and stuff, really cool to see. They were super excited about this, and part of it is the chippiness that went on during the game. But for those older players, I think that's really cool after how last year went, how much they struggled, and how difficult it is when you're a player and you expect more from your coaching staff and you weren't able to get it. I think the coaches around them they're coaching them up and those type of things. So, I think the sky's the limit for this team. They continue to get better as long as they can stay healthy in some key spots.
I'm sure it's a good day out there for USC fans. I'm sure Twitter's going crazy. The Peristyle is crazy. And you want to be a member, USCfootball.com, where we'll have a lot more content, as well as Tunnel Vision tomorrow to break down even more of the action when we get a chance to rewatch that one. He's Shotgun Spratling. I'm Jack Smith. Thank you for watching Instant Analysis. Make sure you're checking out USCfootball.com for more.